Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. Today, AMD's next-gen Ryzen CPUs released for about a minute. Intel takes the lid off their 11th gen desktop series. RX 6000 GPUs will sell out in minutes, and AMD's RX 6000 series will get this. Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, AMD's Ryzen 5000 series made its debut just a couple days ago, and unfortunately, stock seemed to run out quickly. Of course, I will say that new CPU launches do typically sell out fast. I think the big thing to look for is whether they get back in stock soon or not. If we start hearing that AMD will be low on stock until next year, then I'd get really concerned. Speaking of, make sure to subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter to get updates on stock as they become available. Unfortunately, it does look like a ton of scalpers got their hands on the CPUs. Hopefully it wasn't from bots at least, as both AMD and retailers have been working hard to keep bots off the buy button. Let's just hope more stock will become available soon. Now, while you wait for GPUs or CPUs to get back in stock, why not learn more about hardware with today's sponsor, Brilliant, the website and app that's made specifically to teach math, science, and computer science. And because they focus on just those three topics, Brilliant is the best place to learn computing. I mean, they actually make it easy. See, Brilliant teaches you based on problem solving and active learning, which means seeing the concepts and actually interacting with them. Instead of explaining things, they show you and let you actually do it yourself. To make things even better, the courses are broken into small sections, so you're able to go over them a little at a time. So what are you waiting for? Learn the deeper side of tech by visiting brilliant.org/gamermeld, and the first 200 people who visit the link get 20% off the annual premium today. Next up for today, in a story that got a bit overshadowed by the Ryzen 5000 announcement, Intel actually shared a ton more information about their upcoming 11th gen desktop CPUs. Now, for anyone who follows the channel, most of these have already been leaked, but now they're official. Starting things off, Rocket Lake CPUs will only come with up to 8 cores and 16 threads, which is something we've seen for quite a while now. Obviously that's odd given their current flagship offers 10 cores, but according to this, Intel will offer a double-digit IPC increase, which is definitely huge. I mean, technically, we haven't seen an IPC increase for Intel's desktop CPUs in years. Of course, with only 8 cores, I'm still a bit concerned. Maybe Intel will bring back their enthusiast line of CPUs? I'm not sure. Next, Intel confirmed support for PCI Express 4.0 with up to 20 lanes. 11th gen also offers memory speeds up to 3200, and the iGPU will be based on their new Xe architecture. All in all, this looks to be a fairly decent upgrade over their current 10th generation. Still, I'm reminded of the drop in core count given total cores have been going up drastically over the last few years. Obviously, Intel thinks it's worth it though. Time, as always, will tell. Unfortunately, from that first story, AMD's Ryzen 5000 processors aren't the only things expected to sell out quickly. In a recent post on the SWE Clockers forum, a user asked an Asus Nordic rep about stock for AMD's upcoming RX 6000 and 6800 XT GPUs. In his reply, which does seem to have been removed, the rep basically stated that the cards will be quite limited, that there will be more RX 6800 non-XT models versus XT variants, and quote, "We expect that everything will be gone within a few minutes." Now, let's be honest, AMD hasn't been competitive with Nvidia's top cards in quite some time. Plus, with all the gamers who weren't able to pick up an RTX 3000 card now ready to pick up AMD's 6000 series, I'd say more people than ever will be clamoring to grab an AMD card. He also stated that AIB cards are coming 1 to 2 weeks later. Basically, if you're interested in getting an RX 6000 card anytime soon, make sure you're there the second they launch if you want a chance to pick one up. And speaking of the RX 6000 series, it looks like we have some good news for those waiting on ray tracing performance. Sort of. See, if you saw my recent video on the first leaked benchmarks that show ray tracing performance on the RX 6000 cards, you know that AMD does very well, until Nvidia's DLSS is turned on. And yes, I know DLSS is basically a version of upscaling and anti-aliasing, but it uses a neural network to take a 1080p frame and make it look like the 4K image, and it uses their special cores to do it. Basically, it's very different from traditional upscaling, and it certainly looks very close to the 4K image, and upscaling from 1440p can reportedly look better than native 4K. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how that ultimately pans out across multiple games. Anyway, I will say all of that to say that AMD is working on their own version, and they actually alluded to it in their original RX 6000 presentation. You can see in this slide it mentions super resolution. And that brings me to today's story. In a recent post on The Verge, they actually got a chance to speak to AMD, and the company told them that it does have a new super sampling feature in testing. Not only that, but it's apparently set to be open and cross-platform, which means both the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 may get support. And that of course means many games will likely support this tech, which is definitely great for PC gamers. The only bad news is that the tech apparently won't be ready in time for the RX 6000 launch, but it's still great news for potential buyers. This is something the RX 6000 series will likely support as soon as the tech becomes available. Of course, I'd love to see how it compares to Nvidia, but AMD is promising that they'll at least talk more about ray tracing before the launch. All in all though, I think it's great news for those interested in buying their upcoming GPUs. So while that does it for today, are you ready for AMD's next-gen GPUs, or are you a bit more excited about Intel's CPUs? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day!